Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Mother-in-Law Suite. We're on a streak. This is the second week in a row I released on a Saturday. Let's go. It's been a minute since I've been able to do that. But, I'm back. I'm here. Things were kind of going crazy for a month or two there, but, things are kind of normalizing out now. I think we're getting to a point where I'm hitting a plateau of a normality, I guess. Reality is starting to become more of a, I guess, plateau instead of a mountain range. It's like the Alpines or something. But no, things are going, things are moving. I'm here by myself today. Just before I started recording this, about like 30-40 minutes beforehand, maybe an hour. Oh, what time is it? Probably like two hours ago at this point, 3 maybe. Like a storm came through. It was like a small storm. It wasn't even that big, like cloud-wise or like area-wise, but boy, man, it looked like a tornado almost came through this neighborhood, because like it ripped the screen off on my neighbor's pool. So it's like a screened-in pool, and like one of the sections, it's like into thirds. Like a third of the screen flew off. The poles are still there, but it was just the mesh part that came off. And then as I was looking out the window, I was actually by the pool when it first started, and I saw the like trees like start really swaying, and then like whenever it looks like gravity isn't affecting the trees like leaves or moss anymore, that's when you need to know. That's like when you need to go back inside, because it is blowing pretty hard at that point. So I walked back inside, and then I was like looking outside, and I think I opened the sliding glass door. I heard something hit our screen. I was like, oh, that didn't sound good. But we waited like 5-10 minutes. It passed, and then I walked back outside, and there was a hole in our screen from a tree branch falling on it. And then there were a bunch of tree branches that fell down on the side of the house. So I grabbed an axe, and I cut those up so they could come get it I guess in the morning, or whenever they come get the trash for the I guess land, or not land, but what do you call it, like land waste. That's what you want to call it. I don't know. I had to cut that up, and then I think a neighbor asked us if we had a chainsaw, and I was like, I have my axe though. I'll help you do that. So I went over, I cut up a tree or two, with the axe, helped him out, and then my neighbor had a tree fall on his property that fell onto his van. It almost hit his house, but didn't, luckily. So that's some pretty good news for that. But yeah, no. I've been keeping up with the Kenobi, the TV show. It's really good. If you guys haven't seen it, you guys should definitely go take a look at it. I'll probably talk a bit more about that towards the end of the podcast. So, like, because I kind of want to discuss. Well, I'll just go ahead and discuss it now. I don't want to get too far into it in case of spoilers, but just be warned if I spoil something. I'm sorry. This is your warning. I don't think I will, but if you want to stick around, if you want to hear some stuff, like opinions, I really enjoyed the last episode. It was actually some of the best Star Wars I've seen in a while. I thought it was very good. And it's really exciting to see this. Like, I guess it's kind of like what I wanted the prequels to be, or something. It's a bit strange how it's working out in the show, but it's really neat. I like the aspect of Anakin and Obi-Wan having this history other than the prior history that they had in the prequels that were established, and the history that you've seen in like A New Hope, like in episode 4. Because in the way I interpreted episode 4, or like after one through 3, like after Anakin became Darth Vader, I thought like Obi-Wan just kind of sat in Tatooine for years and just rotted away. Like, that was the assumption. I didn't think he like did anything at all. Like, I thought he literally just turned into like a hermit and crawled himself away. But no, it's really neat seeing him like get out there and do stuff, and especially with the same actor that played him in the prequels. It's very good, very 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 good. I'm really liking it. The only thing I really dislike about this show, I think I said it last time too, is I really don't like the second sister or whatever her name is. um I don't think she's not the character. I just don't like the actor. I feel like she's forcing too hard to be evil, if that makes sense. Like if you deliver her lines and you do her actions the way that like it's written and stuff, without like having to go overboard, you'll get the idea that she's evil. I feel like it would even portray her even more evil. But with the way she's like she's doing her role, it kind of reminds me of like like episode 7 Kylo Ren, or episode 8 Kylo Ren. Like she's just throwing temper tantrums and like just being mean to be mean instead of like actually having a whatever. Because I really liked like in episode 1 of Kenobi, I really liked the Grand Inquisitor, and she like he looked like such a cool guy, and he was like carefully delivering how he was carefully enunciating what he was trying to say, and like delicately constructing his sentences. It was really cool how he was like talking to these people, and like they knew what he was trying to say, instead of being like, "I'll cut your hand off. Don't you need to tell me where he is?" It pisses that I don't. It just it bothered me. I didn't like it, but other than that, it's a really 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 good show. I have also been trying to keep up with the One Piece. Now, the One Piece, it's I'm not like current, but I am getting closer than I was. Took a really long break for a minute, but I'm at like episode 690 now, so I'm almost at the 700s, and then 300 episodes more, and probably by the time I get to 1,000, it'll probably be like, I don't know, maybe 1,050, 1,075 or something that I need to watch. So who knows if I'll ever catch up, but I know the new Red movie's coming out soon this year. I don't know what you need to see in context beforehand, so hopefully if I get to like Wayno or something before then, I should be able to see the movie without any spoilers. But I will see. It is getting kind of crazy. Doflamingo's going kind of nuts in Dressrosa right now. Things are going crazy. Things are moving. Things are I don't know. I just saw the God Usopp arc. That was really cool. It was really neat. Usopp's like my favorite character in the entire show, so it was a really cool moment. I did watch a movie the other day with my homie. I didn't finish it yet. I need to finish it, but it's called Fear and Loathing Las Vegas, and I didn't really know like who this guy was. It's basically a movie biography. It's like a biography of this guy, but it's like acted out. So it's just based on a true story. It's actually based on a book by the guy who is starring in it. So it's an autobiography that was transformed into a movie by a separate director. Um, Anyways, Johnny Depp portrays what is his name, man? Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Um, his name, Fear and Loathing, Las Vegas, was originally a book by Hunter S. Thompson. That's the name, Hunter S. Thompson. Now, Hunter S. Thompson was a famed writer back in like I think it was the 50s and 60s. Um, he he was avidly known for his drug use, and there is countless interviews on YouTube and stuff of him like rolling his ice in chloroform and putting it in his tea or something, or his whiskey, and then drinking that. And there's this one where he's like shooting guns with Conan O'Brien, and he like starts screaming because he lost his joint that was in his shirt pocket. And then Conan's like, "That man was just shooting a gun." And it's like it's pretty funny. He he's done too many countless recreational drugs and everything, probably some that you should never even think about doing. I mean, even me just mentioning chloroform a minute ago, like that's how crazy it kind of gets. But in this movie, it's an autobiography of his life, and or like his time in Las Vegas with him and his attorney. um and in his attorney is like even more of a drug head than he is. So it's like these guys having like the worst trip of their life that is just like lasting like a week long, 2 weeks long almost. And it's insane. It's a fever dream all the way throughout. It's really a must watch. It's really good. I think, let me check. It has a 49% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's a very like strange movie as is. So it's not received well critically, but the audience score is 90%. So I think they spoke out. But Johnny Depp plays Hunter S. Thompson, and Johnny Depp actually knew and was friends with Hunter S. Thompson before he died. I think Hunter S. Thompson actually killed himself because he was like getting old and living his lavish lifestyle of snorting cocaine like 17 times a day. Was surprisingly deteriorating his health, and he was dying. So he just went ahead and was like, "Yeah, no, I'm not getting old. I'm not, I'm not doing this. I'm just gonna go out." And unfortunately, that was his demise. But you know, hey, man, he lived his life. I guess it was insane. The movie's crazy. I wanted to look a little bit more into this guy because he seems like a loon, but it seems pretty cool. Plus, he was like I said, he's pretty famous, much more famous than I thought he was. I didn't think he was that big, but like he made it on like David Letterman. I think Stephen Colbert. He talked to Stephen Colbert, maybe not Stephen Colbert, but he talked to a few different people, like or at least Conan and stuff like that. But there were so many countless interviews of this guy. There's so much content out there from books and everything. But the movie also has Tobey Maguire in it, which is pretty funny. So definitely check that out because it's pretty good. Um, I've been playing this game. It's called Disco Elysium. I picked it up on the Epic Mega Game Sale. Unfortunately, it has ended, and the Epic Mega Game Sale is no longer with us. But I think the Steam Summer Sale is coming soon. I think the next sale ends on 6/20. So I'm assuming after 6/20, maybe 6/21 or um maybe at the start of July, the Steam Summer Sale should be out, and a lot of games are gonna go on sale, and you can pick them up for pretty dirt cheap. So take a look and keep an eye out for that. But to round it back out, or to go back, Disco Elysium is this like detective game, and it's not, it's like isometric, so it's like it's, what do you call it, it's it's like kind of top down, but it's like off to the side, so it can't sit top down view. And you can either move with WASD or you can left click wherever you need to go. But there's not very much combat, but the way the gameplay is how you level up. So your level up cards are like mental attributes or physical attributes and things like that. So instead of like upgrading like a generalized charisma or generalized intelligence or generalized you know, physique or something, there are categories. There's four categories. There's I guess, well, it's kind of like intelligence. There's intelligence, there's physique, there's psyche, and then there's I think it's hand eye or something. It's like basically like if you reaction time or anything like that. Um, but in these categories, there's about five or six different subcategories, or not subcategories, but things that you can upgrade. So in intelligence, there's logic, there's rhetoric, there's drama, there's I think focused insight or something like that. So you can like reconstruct crime scenes within like your mind and stuff like that. So it's pretty intuitive like that. And the way that works is whenever you're talking to someone and you have, let's say you have um, drama leveled up, which means that you can detect lies and you can lie a bit easier. So you know how to lie. So you can kind of throw them off. Be like, they'll be like, Susan told me that the other day she wasn't home, and then you say to him, "Well, I already talked to Susan, and she said that she was home that day." but that was a lie, and then the guy will like believe you. If you have a high enough drama thing, you can say it convincingly enough to where the guy will believe you, and then it's like a dice roll. So if you have it high enough, it'll be like an 89% chance of success or 70% chance of success. But if it's low enough, it might be like a 49% or a 27% or an 8% or something like that. So it's a really it's like a gambling odd to see how well you or how often you can get the excuse me get the outcome that you want. And if you fail a dice roll, it can alter the game completely, or if you succeed one, it can alter the game completely as well. It's a really 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 cool game. It actually has a voice actor from one of the bands I listen to quite frequently. It's called Sixth, Sikth. um a very good band. If you want to take a listen to the lead singer's like vocal, um um I guess voice acting skills or vocal skills or anything like that, there's a song on one of their albums, The Forest, I think, or something. Sixth. The the trees are dead and dried out. Wait and The trees are dead and dried out. Wait for something wild. That's the name of the album. But the last song in the album isn't an actual song. It's like a monologue of this guy doing a bunch of different voices. It's called "When Will the Forest Speak?" When will the forest speak? You need to listen to that because that's shows how like how grounded, or not how grounded, but how ironed out these vocals are that he's worked on like all his life. Um, it's like everything's burning, churning, yearning, and then it's like crooked lies, crooked lies. It's kind of crazy. I don't even know what I'm saying, but like that's like if you listen to the little bit, it makes sense. It's really cool. It sounds like a bunch of characters from like Lord of the Rings, but it's just one dude doing them. Um, Really neat, really really cool. Um, I also tried to start playing Assassin's Creed Origins because I tried playing that a few years back and it was not working at all, and it was kind of upsetting. And it would glitch out, the frame rate was choppy, it would like ghost inputs, or it would like stutter real bad. And I was like, you know what, I'm done. I refunded it. But I just picked it up again during the summer game sale, or not this the Epic Mega Sale or whatever. And apparently they ironed out all those bugs, so now it's playable. Like I can actually play the video game. So I've been kind of trying going in between that and Disco Elysium, and I started playing League a little bit. I know, I know. I probably shouldn't be playing League of Legends, but I am. Um, it's game always drags me back in, and kind of sinks its claws and teeth into me, and it won't let go. So that's that's something that's been going down. I also kind of play a little bit of Valorant on the offhand, and I've been playing a little bit of Tarkov with my homie Andre. That's been pretty fun too. I've been enjoying Tarkov a little bit, but I'm really excited for the arena mode whenever that comes out. It'll give me some more insight with how people play, at least with the gunplay, so I won't be so like I won't choke so bad whenever someone pulls up on me while I'm looting. Like I'll actually be able to gun them down, or whatever, and vice versa. I'm sure they'll get more practice in like with the PvP and the arena mode as well. But it'll just help it out, and I think people will become more comfortable with the mechanics, especially experiencing a faster paced PvP combat. So they will be able to, I guess, flip that switch on whenever they're in a raid and they see someone or something. So it will be, I think it'll increase the skill level of most players that have played the game, at least to a point of equal, I guess, equal standing combat. So I think it'll be pretty cool. That's going to be neat whenever that releases. I'm not sure when the release date is, but I am looking forward to that. Ark Survival was free on Steam for a few days. I don't know if it still is. I don't think it is, but I grabbed that. I've never played it. Probably I don't know if I will or not, to be honest. But it's a it's something there, something free. So I picked that up. I also picked up Manhunt, or Maneater. Yeah, not Manhunt, Maneater on Epic because that was free as well. I think something else free is now, but Maneater's like a shark survival game, and you the more fish you eat, the more you level up. So you become like, you start out as like this like baby shark, and then you have to, Jesus, um, I said the words, bro. It's stuck in my head now. I wanna know. You start out as like this little baby shark, and then you grow up, and then you have to get to adult shark, and then there's like different areas of the map that you have to unlock, or you can't get to until you're a big enough shark to like break down a fence or chew down a wire or something. It's really neat. Really, it's not. Well, it's not really neat. It's kind of neat. It's a weird game. It's funny. It's a little meme. So that's it's if if you have it, if you picked it up during the Epic Games and you've been kind of tempted to play it, but you haven't done it yet, try it out. It's fun for a little bit. I probably won't be able to finish the game, but I can appreciate the game, I guess. Before I started recording this, my mom came back here and gave me a strawberry daiquiri. So I have that in my hand. I've been kind of sipping on it. Um, it's pretty good. I've been I said whenever I before I started recording or earlier today, I was outside and I was like cutting some tree limbs up because everything kind of fell down from that like small storm that came by. But I'm thinking my asthma is coming back, or I have like exercise induced asthma, which I was looking into as well. I don't know, bro. Here recently, anytime I do like some exerting cardio or something, like either running or a stair climber, I mean, it might just be because my cardio is weak, but every single time, bro, I just can't breathe. I'm like sitting there. I start like, I don't wheeze or anything, but it just feels like I'm getting no air in my lungs. And it kind of spooks me occasionally, but I need to probably get that checked out at some point soon. And little scary, but it ain't nothing too crazy. I've had really bad asthma attacks before in the past, and that wasn't really anything to fret about. That was, it was exertion, so it might have just been me being tired and me just being a homebody for a little bit. I've been kind of slacking on the gym, so that might also be why. But I don't know. It's getting pretty. It got pretty bad for a second. I was like sitting there. I was like, goodness, do I need to sit down? But no, I kind of slowly walked around and concentrated on breathing. I got better. But you know how that is. I I went to this like cafe place last night, and it was pretty fun. Um, Went with my buddy Weston, and we got there and we kind of started sitting there, and it's kind of like a lounge. You sit there. There's like books and games. You can like you can read any of the books they have there. You can pick up the games. You can play the board games with your friends. There's like drinks, wine. There's a full bar, everything. And sometimes they have concerts there. There was actually some people or some kids coming in, and they brought their like drum set and their guitars and everything. They were setting up to play a set, but you had to pay, and we were like, we don't really want to play or pay to listen to these guys, because I think they were like, it was like a indie rock punk band or something, like a skater boy band or something. We were just, I don't know, we just weren't vibing with the music in the first place and their vibe. So we kind of walked out the other room. They started like doing a sound test, and we're like, yeah, no, this is not our vibe right now. So we left there, came back to the house, and we picked up some drinks from ABC and a couple cigars. We came back and we had a good time here. He actually hopped on my computer. He really likes Star Wars, and I had him try out that Galactic Contention mod on Squad. Very good game, by the way. Very good mod. It's really cool. I've been playing that a little bit more too recently since I installed that earlier. It's very fun. It's There's a lot of video titles on YouTube that got my attention. That's why I installed it. It says like, Disney will never make a Star Wars game like this, or this Star Wars game, or this Star Wars mod is the best Star Wars game you can play, or things like that. And I like kind of agree with almost most of these titles, even though they're a bit clickbaity, bro. They're really good, and it's a really good game. It's really fun, really worked out, and it's all made by the community and people. It's not no third party, not no third party, but no AAA title or no developers or nothing. Just some Just some dudes that like Star Wars, and they made this super fun experience for everybody to enjoy for free as long as you own Squad. So very very cool game. Squad goes on sale during the summer sale. The summer sale. Look at it, pick it up maybe. The game base game's not for everybody. Even the mod isn't for everybody, but it's hack real sim Star Wars shooter, and it's really cool. So um, I really suggest checking it out if you haven't. Um, Weird topic, but I wanted to say it. It was like kind of thought process, or not thought process, but it was like a shower thought kind of thing. And I like just thinking about it's not necessarily philosophy, but concepts or conceptualizing different things. I think dependency. The I was looking into the word dependency. Sometimes I'll choose a word and I'll kind of look into it and see what it means and like what it means to people or an individual versus the dictionary and everything like that. And I kind of find either hypocrisies or paradoxes within the term or anything like that, and I kind of reflect in to see what it means for me at least. And I think it's interesting because a lot of people get scared of dependencies in terms of relationships or either drug use, either prescription or recreational or dependencies on family or anything like that. And I think it's really interesting because a lot of people will have like these really big like anti dependency concepts versus like relationships. Let's say they don't want to be dependent on another person, but they smoke weed every day, or they do coke, or they literally can't operate without caffeine. They're dependent on that caffeine. They're dependent on that weed. They're dependent on something like that to be able to eat or anything, but they don't want to depend on someone. Now, it could be said the opposite way. I have other friends that love to depend on people or can depend on their family and friends, and they don't have an issue doing that, and their friends don't have an issue with them depending on them either. But the moment it comes to like any drugs or anything, they don't want to depend on them, or they don't want to feel obligated to assess a what do you call it, or like establish a connection with, like, let's say a an SSRI for anti-anxiety, or um, something to help with pain like marijuana or anything like that. I was like trying to figure out why, and I was trying to figure out what it was about, because normally I'll see like people will have more issues with dependency and the concept of either mentally altering or internally altering substances, except caffeine. Caffeine is like a generalized accepted thing among people, that it's there and you can drink it and it's fine, and a lot of things have caffeine in it that we really aren't informed about. Like, if you drink a Coke a day, a lot of people, I mean, like, I didn't realize Coke had caffeine in it for a long time, until I was like outside high school, and a lot of people drink like 2 or 3 cans of Coke a day. And coffee has, I think, nine or 83 grams or milligrams of caffeine per cup, and most people put coffee in a thermos that's like 3 cups big, 2 cups big, 4 cups big, and they drink that entire thing, or they fill it up multiple times a day, But the moment it comes to like either anxiety meds or like stomach meds or something, they get scared because they're like, oh, I don't want to depend on something like that. But like, if I take a step back from myself, let's say I was having that situation where I didn't want to depend on like a medication or something like that. If I take a step back right now, I'm depending on a ton of stuff right now. I depend on my family to help me have a house to live. I depend on my car to get me to where I need to go. I depend on my refrigerator to keep my food cold. Like, I think what I'm trying to get at is, I think, like, ever since we're a young age, at least in the American concept, or the American ideologies, or I guess maybe Southern American ideologies, that dependency, we're kind of taught that it's like bad, and you kind of need to be um what's independent, maybe, or self-sustainable, like, because ever since you're a kid, you're like, okay, the ideal age is you need to move out and be married by 18 or 19 or 20 or something. I'm 23, I'm still living at home. But in a lot of other countries, there's multi-generational households where great grandparents are living with the like with your grandparents, which are living with your parents, which are living with you. So you have four generations of people living under one household, and that's seen as common. But here it's like if you're if you're 23 or 22 or 21, I'm not saying this out of experience. My family doesn't mind me being here at all. I'm fortunate. I'm really fortunate. I truly am. But I know a lot of friends that parents are like, hey, you got to get out of here, bro. Like you're old. Like get out. I was out and moved out and by your age already, and you know that's a stupid argument because inflation and the economy and everything's kind of in a weird state of the world right now as it is. But you know it's it's just a strange thing. It's like people can choose what to be dependent on, but then even though they're dependent on one thing, they'll view other people that are dependent on other things as evil or weak or something. And I find myself doing the same thing too. You know, and it's really judgmental. And I try to stop, like, you know, I try to be self aware whenever I find myself doing something like that, either judging someone or like trying like an unjust assumption maybe or anything like that. So I'm trying to figure out like what it is that rubs me the wrong way about it. But it's just an interesting thing because it just shows how much people vary, like how like what will urge that, or not urge them, but what will like upset them or make them uncomfortable versus what will, and then how that can be vastly different from someone else based off a few different things, based off their upbringing, based off like maybe what someone said to them when they were five, maybe something that someone said to them when they were graduating high school. It can be literally anything, and it's just different things people can say. So I thought that was my little like thought brain juice thing that I that I have occasionally. So that was just I wanted to put that out there. It's a weird talk, and you know I'm not the most educated human being in the world, so I probably messed up a little bit, or I might be lacking information, or might have not looked at it a certain way. So it's just it's really interesting. So, and the other thing is like sobriety, right? In general, I think sobriety is an interesting concept and talking point is where, well, and I don't really want to talk about this one too much, but people think sobriety is the sacred thing, and I view it as as one as well. It is a sacred, or not sacred per se, but it is they view it as the right way to live, and I feel like it is, sure, it's the native way to live, but what makes humans insane, like not insane, but what makes humans like so vastly experienced, or not experienced, but even just like um what is the word I'm looking for? Like basically the apex predator of the earth or whatever. We like what makes us who we are and things like that is like we can digest anything, or not anything, but we can digest different things, and it has different effects on our physique or our mentality. And I think it's really interesting that we don't use that a bit more. I mean, we use it with caffeine, that like the coffee break. I'm going to do some wikiing real quick, but I'm pretty sure the coffee break was invented by this tie shop, this bow tie shop. Um, because a lot of the guys that worked at the tie shop were getting old and they couldn't work there anymore, so they hired a bunch of women to work at this tie shop. But the owner found out that since they weren't the original owners, nothing for the fact of them being women or anything, but that was just it was I think it was in the 60s or something like that, or not 60s, it was way earlier than that. But anyways, the original owners were kind of like not dying off, but they were getting too old to work there, so they hired a bunch of ladies to come in and take over their place. But the owner, or the runner of the business, was noticing that they weren't meeting quota. They weren't producing as many ties as the other people were. Understandably so, because you know the other people weren't working there, but it was a considerable less amounts of ties that they were producing. So he had a meeting. He's like, guys, listen, you know, like you guys come in the morning, you guys are working so great, so fast, and you get so much done, but around like 2 o'clock every day, or 1 or 2 o'clock every day, you get this, like, you get really slow and our production slows down, and we need to figure out what we can do. And they're like, well, maybe like just give us a coffee break, or like let us go, like maybe brew some coffee here or something. And he's like, all right, let's try it out. They doubled their production rate just from adding a coffee break, because they would go on break, drink some caffeine, go back to work, and they would be superhumans, working faster. They would be diligent. They would be more attentive and things like that because of the like up blood rate or like heart rate. They're just working. They put the grind in, you know. So I think it's interesting that any we use caffeine, I guess maybe because it doesn't limit our what would you call it? I guess sobriety, but or mental state. It doesn't alter our mental state as one would normally think, but I think it still does to an extent because I don't think it like gives you more energy. I think it just makes you think you'd have more energy or makes you feel the effects of fatigue less or something. And you know, there's a bunch of other like compounds and things out there that does the same thing. Like eat if you eat kava, the it's like a root, and you grind that up and you drink it in a tea, it really relaxes you, and it's a really nice body mellow. It really makes you like relax. I read this when I was reading into kava and what kava is. It helped me in a really dark time in my life. I was having a really rough time, and I went to this kava bar. It's this root, and they grind it up and they make it into a herbal tea, and it's very, very, very good. Or it's not. It does not taste good, but it's okay. It kind of tastes like peanuts, like peanut water, but like not like boiled peanut water. Like if you just took like Texas Roadhouse peanuts and put them in a vat of water, and then you poured the water into a cup, you drink it. So it's kind of gross, but it's the effects of it is very relaxing, and it helped me when I was having really, really bad anxiety attacks, and I was coming off of my SSRIs, which was I think citalopram at the time, and my head was just not in a good place, and I was trying to figure out what was going on, and I just like I would cry occasionally like out of nowhere for no reason, and I was like trying to figure out what was going on, and that really helped me. I tried it, and I sat and I relaxed, and it calmed me down immediately. And it's like things like that. Like our bodies can take things in and break them down and produce an effect that can change our entire like not perception but our entire day. Like if I have migraine, I can go in there, take some like Excedrin, and then my pain's gone. You know, or if my finger's swollen, I can take some ibuprofen and whoa, my finger's not swollen anymore. So I just think it's interesting that we don't take advantage of our anatomy and our biology to and more and like study I guess substances maybe or anything like that to maybe have less effects on the human body, or negative effects at least on the human body, and find like like an ideal, not an ideal drug, but like the next caffeine. You know, like if something came out and it made people superhumans, but it had no effect with like, or negative effects with like increased anger or mood swings or anything like that. It could help so many people with different things. I mean, if somebody's like really tired all the time and the caffeine doesn't work on them, if we find an anti fatigue either drug or substance to help out with that, like other than caffeine or anything like that, or more more intense than caffeine, or I don't know, you know, I'm just kind of spouting, but I just think it's an interesting thing, and I think it's kind of crazy that people just look at it as like, oh, substance bad, it's no good, but like in the history of the world, like substances have always been there. Like with the Native Americans, I you know, peyote and ayahuasca and the cactuses, and then with the Vikings, sure, they had like they did a bunch of mushroom trips and berserkers, and sure there was a lot of bloodshed, but if you look into their livelihoods and their what do you call it, their religions, it was a spiritual journey, so they viewed it as like as prolific, or like, or not prolific, but spiritual and necessary almost to have those experiences, especially like as coming of age or anything like that. So it's a really interesting thing that like all of this history from the earth is trying to be tossed into this taboo instead of experimenting with it more and understanding it more in the I guess the collective, not collective, but the collective, I get, well, yeah, I don't want to say collective consciousness, but the collective minds that we have now of like the internet and everybody like being able to talk and share research and things. Like I feel like we can definitely find something beneficial for the human race if we look for it, but we're too worried about like saying something about it, I guess. It's a weird conversation. A lot of people don't like having it, but that's why I'm kind of talking to myself about it. But it's an interesting one. But I think that might be it. So I'm gonna go ahead and go talk about my TV, or not TV shows, but my music. Snarky Puppy, a jazz fusion rock band, not really rock, but just jazz fusion band. They came out with a new single called Trinity. Um, it's pretty cool. I picked up a CD the other day, so I'll recommend that. It was Tyler the Creator. I I'm trying to find the album that it was because I can't remember album names for Tyler for some reason. Um, it was the one where he has Wolf on his hat, so I'm pretty sure it's Wolf, the album Wolf. Yeah. So I picked that up, and I also picked up a Soen album, Soen, and that was their newest album, which is Imperial. Very good album. If you haven't listened to Soen before, I think I might have shouted them out once, but really, really good band, and you should check them out. But I think that's gonna wrap it up. And I'm in a kind mood today, so I won't tell you guys to get out, but I will just simply ask if you can leave or turn off your phone or anything like that. I am ending the podcast now, and I appreciate your stay, and you're always welcome back. Some days maybe a little less welcome than others, but you know how it is. But I appreciate you guys listening. Come back next week for some more. I will be back Thursday, so I will try my hardest to get something recorded on Thursday and Friday. I might even be able to like record something on my phone and then see what's going on. But until then, adios, and I'll catch you later.